So today we are going to be taking a look at a macro type of question. So I'm going to be bringing you 3 videos in the next couple of weeks here. Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. I'm Melissa. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday, and subscribing to my channel really helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color and to those that are interested in becoming mental health professionals, including a ton of LCSW Test Prep, more as of late. So if you're interested in studying for the exam, I have a lot of different test prep types of questions. And if you're new here, I am a therapist, an LCSW clinical supervisor, and a PhD psychology research student. And again, liking my videos and subscribing to my channel really helps me get more content out there to you, especially again, those that are taking the LCSW tests and need more study material at absolutely no cost to you. So today we are going to be taking a look at a macro type of question. So I'm going to be bringing you 3 videos in the next couple of weeks here. So one for today, obviously, and then one for the next video, and then one for the video after that. So the first one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be program evaluation, and then after that, program development, and then lastly, advocacy. So I think it's really important to first define macro social work, because as you saw earlier, there are kind of 3 subpopulations that really fall under that macro social work umbrella. And so I found this definition of macro social work. So just read along. It's a broad field that centers on investigating larger scale social problems and developing and implementing social interventions to make positive change at the community, state, and national levels. So there are going to be a few test prep questions. There are going to be a few LCSW questions on the exam about macro social work, about program eval, about policy development, and about advocacy. And even if you may not be in a role that is specific to macro social work, say you're going to be a therapist or something and are more focused at the micro level or even at the meso level. And I have a video on the differences between micro, meso, and macro fields of social work. So definitely be sure to check that out on my channel. I'll leave it down below in the description box. But regardless, if you are in a micro or meso type of work, you will ultimately do some sort of macro role in your capacity. And we'll talk more about that kind of as we get into the questions at hand. So we're going to go ahead again and take a look at our very first question on this series, which surrounds program evaluation. So program evaluation in social work, I wanted to have another definition for you. So it's a form of applied research making use of sound social science research principles and techniques to make judgments about programs for the purposes of improving effectiveness, efficiency, and the overall experience of services. So as you heard here, although you may be in a micro or meso position, you may be asked to really take a look at a program that you may provide therapy to. So it's really not too far out from a specific kind of niche that you work in. So it's really important to know this information, and some of you may actually want to go into program evaluation in social work. There's a lot of different types of nonprofits and also just programs in general that could really use the expertise of somebody that has a social work background. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question. So again, if you're new here, please go ahead and pause here to read the question yourself, and then answer with the response that you think is the one that best meets the question, and then compare it to what we discuss later on, just so you can kind of test where your clinical test taking skills are at this moment. Okay, a macro social worker who works for a nonprofit is asked to do a program evaluation for mental health service access to the homeless population in the area. Okay, so I'm just going to mark up some keywords here. What should the social worker do first? Okay, so you're going to want to watch my video on answering these best next first questions, because they are really asking you a very specific thing, not just what is the right thing to do, but this one in particular is asking you, if these all may be things that the social worker may do, which one is the one that's going to happen first? So you're going to have to triage and prioritize. So let's go ahead and take a look at the options. Okay, option A, talk to key stakeholders about funding. While this is a really important step, it's not going to be the first thing that you do, because this is a program evaluation. And kind of as we discussed, or as I read in the program evaluation description, the social worker here is being asked to really make a judgment and give effective types of feedback about how a program is doing. So talking to key stakeholders about the funding is not necessarily something that is going to be something that you do in program evaluation as a first step. Let's look at option B. So we can, if we're doing the process of elimination, we can go ahead and cross this out. Option B, do outreach to homeless clients. Okay, so again, this is not something that would be the very first step, because we want to take a look at how this has already been done. So if this is one of the steps that was being taken, like one of the goals to be taken during the initiation of this program, then we're going to want to evaluate that. So we don't actually want to do that, because we're evaluating what happened with that. So that's not going to be the correct answer. Option C, discuss program outcomes. Okay, well, that actually sounds like exactly what we're talking about when we looked at the definition of program evaluation in social work in the first place. So this definitely sounds like something that we're going to do. We're going to do it first. Well, let's take a look at option D just to make sure before we rule anything out. Option D, share and find out what measures were used to decide progress towards the goals. Because with option C, we don't need to discuss program outcomes right away. We're going to want to first share what was used to decide progress towards those goals. So what's really going to be helpful for us is to choose option D. And so that means option C is not going to be first. So therefore, our answer is going to be D, share and find out what measures were used to decide progress towards goals. So some of the key steps that you're going to want to think about in program evaluation are looking back at what the initial problem was, figuring out what the goals and the objectives were at the beginning and how they were measured, what other factors were that impacted that progress, or what progress has been made towards those goals. And so based on everything that we talked about, because of that, option D is going to be your best answer. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget again to hit that like and subscribe button for more content. The next video is going to be centered on policy development, and after that, it's going to be about advocacy. So please stay tuned to see those videos. Until next time, managing mental health matters.